Hey, this is Drew Page. Welcome to the Drew Page channel. In this video, I want to talk about how you can maximize a personal injury settlement once you've received it, or if you haven't gotten a personal injury settlement, maybe you've inherited a lump sum of money, or you've come into a big bonus of some amount. How do you invest that? How do you put that into the best use for your financial benefit? The reason I'm making this video is because as a personal injury lawyer, I work on cases involving personal injury from start all the way to finish. But finish doesn't just mean when I get the check or when the client gets their check. A lot of lawyers, when they get their 1/3 of the settlement or verdict or however they have their financial plan, and they've written their final settlement check to their client, they are done. They're not financial advisors, they're not investment advisors or any of those things. And so they give their client a large amount of money with absolutely no direction. One of the things that I try to offer my clients is information on what I do with my money and how I invest, and try to teach them or put them in touch with resources so that they can learn how to better invest their personal injury settlements. And so after thinking through, what I would do with a lump sum settlement, as well as how I've seen other people engage in making sure that they're maximizing their lump sum payouts, I have 5 principles that I want to share with you about how to maximize your personal injury settlement or lump sum cash payout. It's important to note that most of the time, personal injury settlements are not a whole lot of money. The average settlement is probably somewhere between $75,000 and $100,000 per case. Obviously, there are some who have multi-million-dollar settlements and some who may only have a couple of $1,000s of a settlement. So there's a wide range, but the average is probably about $75,000 to $100,000. So with that, the attorney gets about 1/3 of that, and then the medical bills, if there are any, eat some of that up. But let's just say that a person gets a check for about $25,000 to $30,000. That may be the largest paycheck that the client has ever received. What do they do with that $25,000? Because they're going to find that it doesn't last as long as they may think. And it may not, even if they get $100,000, that's not going to necessarily make up for all of the lost wages. They may have to get a new type of work because of their injury. There may be all types of scenarios where $100,000 will go away like that. So just imagine what $25,000 would be like. There are 5 things I would consider doing with a lump sum payout of $25,000. The first thing that I would do is I would invest in myself. I would invest in some form of personal development. Again, a person who's been injured may not be able to do the same type of work that they were doing prior to the accident. And even if they could, they may want to be able to maximize their ability to earn a bigger income. So what I would suggest and what I've done is invest in myself, hiring a personal business coach, paying for a course on personal growth or personal development, paying for a marketing course, paying for things that I can learn about to be a better person and to be a person that people would want to reach out to hire, so I can maximize my personal income. So if I can take that settlement that I've used and maximize my ability to make money, then I've got a win and I've grown my personal injury settlement or my lump sum payout. The second thing I would consider doing is providing myself with a safety net, some sort of emergency fund. It doesn't have to be a large amount, but some amount set aside, especially if you're injured and it's going to be a couple of months before you can get into the workplace. You're going to want a safety net to make sure that you can pay all of your bills out until you're able to get back up to and running for work. So I would suggest maybe somewhere between $1,000 to $5,000, depending on how much you make each month, set aside as an emergency fund to make sure that you're able to get through the next month or two until you can get back into the workplace and ready to go. An emergency fund is not a bad place to park some of the money. Now, I wouldn't park it there long term. It would be a short-term measure. But to make sure that you're able to pay your bills and you don't have creditors knocking on your door, I would suggest some sort of emergency fund is what I would do. The third thing I would consider doing is paying off high interest debt. Now, I wouldn't run out and pay off a mortgage. I wouldn't run off and pay a low interest debt off with this money immediately. But if you have high interest debt, like credit cards, a car payment with a high interest rate, certainly if it's over 8%, the S&P has averaged annually about 10%. And so if you're somewhere in that 8 to 10% or higher range, the likelihood that you're going to invest it sufficient to be able to equal the return you would get on paying off your debt is very small. So consider using the lump sum payoff to pay off some of your high interest debt, which would elevate your net worth because your liabilities would shrink, and then hopefully there will be enough money left over for you to invest further. But even if not, and you're concerned about the risk of investing in the market, you're nervous about rental properties or other means of investing, cryptocurrency, things of that nature, then paying off high interest debt is a no-brainer to be able to help you be able to maximize the money that you've gotten. A lot of people like to run out and buy a new car or want to put a down payment on a house rather than thinking about the long-term ramifications of investing or paying off these high interest debt. Instead of focusing on what they can do to improve their position, they go out and just try to buy things and live it up a little bit. Obviously, it's their money and they can do what they want, but I feel that it's my duty as an attorney to help guide my clients when they get that lump sum of money on how to best use that and be able to get a return on it. So paying off high interest debt, certainly a good thing to do. Obviously, you can go to Dave Ramsey and he can give you a plan that I use, in which I'll be making a video on how I paid off over $160,000 in law school student loan debt in 3.5 years. So you can do this, and that would be a great use of your money. The fourth thing I would consider recommending is putting the money in a stock account, a cryptocurrency account, or something of that nature where you're investing in in something that's going to give you a long-term return. For me, when it comes to my retirement, like my 401k, my Roth IRA, I don't really play with those. I use growth stock mutual funds through Fidelity and through Vanguard, and I use Dave Ramsey's principles about growth stock, where he puts 25% in large cap, 25% in mid, 25% in small, and 25% in international. I've gotten a pretty good return every single year. This year, mine is pretty much mirrored the S&P in the mid 20% return, so it's worked out pretty well. Obviously, that's not a guarantee of future performance. But I also have individual stocks that I invest in, like Apple. I have BlackBerry, AMC. I have Zoom. I've got Coinbase. I've got a few other stocks, and I look at the companies and the growth potential, and then I also have some money just to have a little bit of fun and be diamond hands with the AMC crowd and the BlackBerry crowd and the GME crowd and all that. So if you've got individual stocks, those will obviously give you an opportunity to maximize your return. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and cryptocurrencies, things of that nature, also have done pretty well recently. Obviously, there's a lot of volatility to that, but it would certainly be better than you just going out and buying a new car or trying to get a house that you can't afford. Definitely thinking about ways to get applications like Webull, Robinhood, Coinbase Pro, teaching you how to use those apps so that way you know how to invest. Those are certainly some ways that you can maximize your lump sum settlement. The fifth and final way to maximize your personal injury settlement or lump sum settlement or lump sum payout is to invest in real estate. Now, obviously there's risk with this as well, but there's not as much risk. The issue is that it takes a lot of money up front if you're doing it right. I mean, obviously you can house hack and do it with little to no money down by house hacking. I don't want to live with my tenants, so I don't ever suggest other people do it, but they're certainly able to do it if they want. So with that, I have to put down 20 to 25% on a rental property, which is a lot of money. And there are a lot of headaches that come with it. There's tenant calls, there's broken toilets, there's roof leaks, ceiling breakdowns, and tenants move out, and there's problems that come with any investment. There's risk with any investment. But if you want the best potential for a high return, getting a rental property, a single family residence, or duplex, triplex, fourplex, if you get a big enough lump sum, getting an apartment building, or maybe investing in some self-storage, or investing in some form of commercial property. But there are so many different ways that you can invest this personal injury settlement. And what I'm going to do with my YouTube channel is go through each of these ways and show you how I've done it. And I'm going to break down what I've done in obtaining my first rental house, how I paid off my student loan debt, how I invest. And I'm going to go through that in some detail. And I want this to be a resource so that my personal injury clients can have the best chance to be able to grow their settlement that they get, or their verdict, or if they, maybe you're in a divorce and you get a payout from the spouse, or maybe you've inherited some money as part of an estate plan, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you won the lottery. The worst thing to do is just run out and just spend it without having a plan. And so I want to help you be able to create a plan, give you some resources, some people that I follow, and I think that will help you be able to maximize your personal injury settlement. So if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel. I've got a goal to grow this channel to 10,000 subscribers. So I appreciate all the ones who've subscribed so far, and I'm trying my best to do what I can to elevate the channel and get it out to as many people as I can. If you liked it, please like this video to help with the algorithm to get the information out to other people. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like this plan? Is this what you would tell somebody to do, or would you just tell someone to dump it all into Bitcoin or put it all into rental real estate? Would you tell them not to worry about debt? That's the old school way. Or maybe you think that rather than investing in themselves, they should be working on passive income. There are lots of different ways. I want to talk about them all, but I don't believe that there is any one right way to do this. So I would be very open to hearing some tips and some advice to help out my personal injury clients. So please put it in the comments. It would be greatly appreciated. And until next time, stay tuned.